remember this moment vividly. It was a quiet evening, just a few friends hanging out, and she was there, sitting across from me. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but then tiny things started to stand out. The way her eyes lingered a fraction longer than usual, the subtle brush of her hand against mine, and the soft laugh that felt a little warmer than it should have. Maybe this sounds familiar to you. You've felt it too. Those subtle signs that almost whisper, "I want you closer," but don't shout it. And the frustrating part? Most men don't notice them. They brush past these moments thinking it's just friendliness, coincidence, or luck. But here's the truth. Women often signal desire in ways so subtle, so unconscious, that it takes calm observation and a little psychology to truly see. Tonight, I want to show you the 6 hidden signs a woman secretly wants you and why most men completely miss them. By the end of this video, you won't just guess anymore. You'll observe, you'll understand, and you'll notice the invisible thread of attraction that's been there all along.
Most men think attraction is obvious. Big gestures, clear words, dramatic moves. But in reality, desire often hides in the subtle details. And that's why so many men miss the signs entirely. Psychology gives us a few explanations. First, there's inattentional blindness. Your brain filters out what it considers irrelevant. So subtle cues, like a glance or a small touch, can go completely unnoticed. You see her, but you don't see her signals. Then there's social conditioning. From a young age, men are taught to interpret female behavior literally. A smile? Just politeness. A laugh? Just friendliness. Meanwhile, women often communicate desire in indirect ways. Finally, selective attention plays a role. Your mind focuses on obvious signals and ignores the quiet ones. But subtle desire cues are often micro-expressions, tiny gestures or shifts in energy, things most people aren't trained to notice. Understanding this changes everything. Once you know where to look and how to interpret these small signals, you start seeing a pattern that's been there all along, quietly guiding interactions.
I remember one evening at a small gathering. I was talking with a group of friends when she joined the conversation. At first, nothing seemed unusual, just laughter and casual chatter. But then I noticed the small things. Her body suddenly shifted toward me, even when I didn't realize I was the center of her attention. She mirrored my posture almost perfectly, leaned in slightly when I spoke, and her eyes seemed to hold a little more warmth than before. It wasn't a single moment that gave it away. It was a series of tiny cues, all adding up. The energy between us shifted, quietly, almost imperceptibly. That night, I realized something important. Attraction often speaks in whispers, not shouts. And the men who notice it first are the ones who understand these quiet signals. The eyes are often called the window to the soul, and in attraction, this is literally true. One of the first hidden signs a woman gives is through eye contact and pupil dilation. Research in psychology shows that when someone is interested or aroused, their pupils naturally dilate. It's an unconscious signal. She's not thinking, "I want you to see this." Her body's simply responding. Gaze is another powerful cue. Studies on gaze cueing show that people naturally follow and respond to where others look. If she maintains eye contact longer than usual or her gaze lingers on you while you talk, it's a strong signal of attraction. These are subtle signs most men miss because they happen in fractions of a second. Once you start noticing where her eyes go and how they react, you can read a lot about her interest without a single word being spoken. Touch is one of the most powerful yet overlooked signals of desire. Women often use micro-touching to communicate interest without saying a word. Psychologists refer to the reciprocity principle. When someone lightly touches you, Your brain unconsciously responds by mirroring the gesture or feeling more connected. Even a brief brush of the arm, a gentle tap, or leaning closer can indicate attraction. Attachment patterns also play a role. Women who feel safe and interested will often initiate small physical connections, a hand on your shoulder, playful nudges, or even adjusting your clothing in a casual way. These gestures aren't accidental, they're subtle invitations. The key is context and frequency. A single touch might be friendly, but repeated small touches, especially combined with eye contact or leaning in, signal genuine interest and a desire for closeness. It happened on a quiet evening, just the two of us talking. I was telling a story, gesturing with my hands, and she leaned in ever so slightly. Not dramatically, just a subtle shift closer, close enough that I noticed the change in energy. Her hand brushed against mine briefly, and she laughed at something that wasn't even that funny, but the laugh carried warmth, attention, and a spark that wasn't there before. In that moment, I realized she wasn't just engaged in the conversation. She was signaling something deeper. The lean in, the micro touch, the small gestures all added up. It was a quiet, almost imperceptible message. She wanted to be closer, emotionally and physically.
A woman's voice and laughter carry subtle cues of attraction that most men overlook. Research in psychology shows that vocal pitch rises slightly when someone is interested, and the tone becomes softer and more melodic. Laughter is another key signal. A study on social attraction found that women tend to laugh more frequently and genuinely around people they're drawn to. But it's not just the volume, it's the timing, warmth, and responsiveness of the laugh. These vocal cues work on a subconscious level. Your brain picks up on intonation patterns, rhythm, and inflection, signaling comfort, interest, and even sexual tension. By noticing how her voice shifts, when she laughs, and the subtle warmth behind her words, you start to understand a hidden layer of communication that's all about connection and desire. Mirroring is one of the most powerful unconscious signals of attraction. When a woman matches your body language, gestures, or energy, it's a sign she's connecting deeply with you. Psychology calls this behavioral mimicry, and it happens naturally when people feel rapport or desire. She might sip her drink when you do, cross her legs in the same way, or even mirror your tone and pace of speech. Energy matching goes beyond gestures. It's about vibe alignment. She laughs when you laugh, leans in when you lean in, and her emotional rhythm subtly syncs with yours. Studies on social synchronization show that this mirroring increases trust, attraction, and emotional closeness. Once you notice these patterns, it's easier to distinguish genuine interest from casual friendliness. Mirroring is a quiet, consistent signal that she's subconsciously saying, "I'm aligned with you, and I'm drawn to you." I remember a night out when I was telling a story, pacing slightly as I spoke. Almost immediately, I noticed she shifted her posture in the same way, mirroring my movements, without realizing it. Her energy matched mine perfectly. When I laughed, she laughed a beat later. When I leaned back, she leaned back too. It wasn't forced or obvious, just a subtle, natural alignment that made the connection feel electric. At that moment, I understood the power of mirroring. It wasn't just playfulness or coincidence. It was her body signaling interest, closeness, and a desire to synchronize with me on a deeper level. Small actions, but they spoke volumes. Sign 5 is emotional openness. Women who are attracted to you often share personal thoughts, feelings, and vulnerabilities. Psychology calls this self-disclosure, a key factor in building intimacy and trust. When she opens up about her fears, dreams, or past experiences, it's a subtle invitation to connect on a deeper level. Sign 6 is subtle jealousy or protective cues.
A woman who wants you might show slight irritation or curiosity when other women engage with you. Research on social comparison and attachment patterns shows that these micro-reactions signal desire without overtly stating it. Both signs are nuanced. Emotional openness shows comfort and trust, while subtle jealousy indicates investment and protective interest. Together, they create a pattern that's hard to fake, giving you clear insight into her true feelings. Recognizing these signals requires attention and awareness, but once you do, it becomes easier to read her interest without guessing.
By now, it should be clear. Attraction rarely shouts. It whispers, lingers, and appears in the smallest gestures. Eye contact, subtle touches, mirroring, and emotional cues. The men who notice these signs aren't more charming or lucky, they're simply observant and present. They see what others overlook, and they understand the psychology behind the signals. The next time you're talking to a woman, pay attention to the quiet cues. Notice the way her eyes move, how her voice changes, or the little gestures that show alignment. These are the moments that reveal true desire. Because desire isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the silent language of subtle connection, waiting for someone attentive enough to notice. And that someone could be you.